Oh, hello there. Yes, I'm making this and I'm being a bit of a jerk while I'm making this. But November 18th of this year, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet releases, and I'm going to be doing a 24-hour stream, and I would like to see you all there. That's right, November 18th. That's a Friday, 24-hour stream. I will be doing it, and I will be having fun. So come on by, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, do all that stuff, and yeah, we'll have fun. So over the weekend, the big news was that Henry Cavil is leaving The Witcher and stepping into the role as Geralt of Rivia will be the lesser Hemsworth brother. I don't care, he's the lesser Hemsworth brother. And several people were annoyed, mainly because they won't be seeing Henry Cavill as Geralt of Rivia, but several people pretty much think they know why. I think it's pretty obvious why Cavill is leaving, not just because he's now being offered, reprising his role as Superman. He's going to be in, the plans are for him to be in the remake, I want to say, of Highlander. There was a third movie. He's also going to be in Mass Effect. So, with all that, why not leave a show that has been treating his character, a franchise, a book series that he actually loves, a franchise that he knows, and creators that just hate it. And for me going there, why don't I just point out this one? We'll just use the headline to help establish this. But X-Men 97 head writer Beau Demore recalls some writers on Netflix The Witcher actively mock the source material, actively mock the source material. We know that this show's a disaster. Lauren Histrich is a disaster. The show was a disaster. But Kotaku just has to put their foot in their mouth and say, well, what we're saying and what's pretty obvious, that's just a conspiracy theory. Witcher fans are convinced they know the real reason Henry Cavill left the Netflix series. The Superman actor's exit has created a firestorm within the fandom. The first time in the internet saw DCU Superman star Henry Cavill as Geralt of Rivia, a Netflix adaptation of The Witcher, it howled in a collective laughter over the terrible wig. I didn't think it was terrible. I thought it was actually pretty decent. 4 years later, fans are losing their minds that Hollywood leading himbo, God, they just hate this man. Hollywood leading alpha geek, which I will lovingly call him that, won't be reprising the role after season 3 ends. One obvious explanation for why is that Cavill has signed on to shoot a new Superman movie, but fans think the real reason Cavill is leaving is that he's tired of fighting with Netflix to keep The Witcher true to its literary source material. Which is very obvious, Kotaku, but you just have to slam everything and not use your critical thinking skills. The surprising news of Cavill's immediate departure was shared yesterday in a statement by Netflix that also announced Liam Hemsworth of Hunger Games fame would be taking over the role in season 4. As with the greatest of literary characters, I pass the torch with reverence for the time spent embodying Geralt and enthusiasm to see Liam's take on this most fascinating and nuanced of men. Cavill was quoted as saying, "Liam, good sir, this character has such a wonderful depth to him. Enjoy diving in and seeing what you can find. When you take this thing, you know what Hemsworth is saying. Read the books, play the games, learn the character, and continue fighting and acknowledge who Geralt truly is." But we continue. While many were disappointed that the man from U.N.C.L.E. would no longer be caught growling roach at horses in future seasons, Witcher fans took the news especially badly. Subreddits for the books, games, and Netflix series blew up with disbelief, frustration, and memes. While conspiracy theories... God, why are you... It's not a conspiracy theory when it's pretty obvious to anybody with 2 brain cells. Well, you don't have 2 brain cells now, do you, Kotaku? Got passed around on Twitter that Cavil had been more or less forced out over creative differences with a production that has a time taken generous liberties, very generous liberties, with Polish author Anderzej. I can't do that. We'll just go with Sapkowski's original novels. Certain parts of the Witcher fandom have always had a toxic relationship with the show. Toxic man babies cry. No, people that actually like the material and want to see it adapted properly. Fuming over casting choices and plot deviations. And Cavil's departure is now being taken as a validation of every criticism they've ever had. The show's shit. Hands down. The only good part of season 2 was the part that Cavil did from the books. That was the only good part. Everything else was shit. They then go to this person. Henry Cavil has been fighting the showrunners for years, and it looks like he finally gave up on the fight. And just pointing out that he's leaving and everything. And it's sad. It is sad. I know several people that are actually really disappointed that Henry Cavill's leaving. And I have to constantly tell them, hey, you know, I know it's sad that he's leaving, but he would be better off in a franchise that respects him, loves him, and is willing to listen to him so he can give people what they want. Because when I said Geek Prime not as a joke, I mean I adore Henry Cavill. I think he's a fantastic person. Whenever asked about his toxic fans, no, he says those are just fans. They are passionate. They know what they like and they want what they like. He defends the fans. Henry Cavill should be the #1 star in Hollywood. He should be the king in Hollywood. King of the nerds. Legit king of the nerds. And everybody hates him. And it's not right. To support their theories, fans point to a breadcrumb trail of previous interview quotes by Cavill, which I have some of them up here. Henry Cavill has a condition to continue has a condition to continuing as The Witcher. Henry Cavill is willing to continue playing Geralt of Rivia on Netflix's The Witcher as long as the showrunners meet one condition. The Witcher showrunners are hoping that the Netflix series can run as star Henry Cavill is on board with the plan. Henry Cavill wants The Witcher Season 3 to be true to the books. Henry Cavill explains how he pushed for a book-accurate Geralt in Witcher Season 2. The Witcher, I need to close this out. The Witcher forum writer recalls staff actively mocking the source material. Like I said before, Geralt cares a lot about this stuff. When he goes into a project, learns every bit about it, so he can present it properly. And the Witcher showrunners, producers, Lauren Hisrich, all of them, they hate it and they just want to use it to spread their social agenda. They don't care. By Cavill about his desires to keep Netflix Geralt to the one originally put to paper in the pages of fantasy magazine Fantasoukia back in 1986. Less than a year ago, the actor said he told The Hollywood Reporter he was absolutely committed to the show's 7-season plan. As long as we can keep telling great stories which honor author Sapkowski's work. I'm not even going to try to say his first name because I keep butchering it. During the media tour around Season 2's release last year, Cavil spoke repeatedly about campaigning to bring more three-dimensionality to Geralt. Nothing that, in addition to a brutish monster slayer, he's also wise, thoughtful, and an amateur philosopher. This season, I really wanted to make sure that we represent the book's Geralt more accurately and that we saw him speak more, he told Total Film at the time. I pushed really, really hard for that. Like he says, which is very apparent in the one scene that Lauren Hissrich said, you know what, fine, you do what you want to do, was the best scene in all of Season 2 of Game of Thrones. And all of Game of Thrones, the one scene that Henry had complete control over was the only good scene. So maybe this conspiracy theory is more accurate. During the media tour around season... Wait, I already said all that. Then there was showrunner Lauren Hissrich's own comments about Cavil's preparation for Season 2. A lot of the notes he was sending to me were about Geralt's dialogue. Couldn't he, first of all, say more? She told Hollywood Reporter. Everybody came out of Season 1 laughing and loving Geralt's fuming. But Henry was saying that when he read the books, you spend a lot of time in Geralt's head. So how can we put that on the page? What about Cavil's aspirations for the future of the series? I'm a huge fan of the books and staying... They did this weird. What about Cavil's aspiration for the future of the series? They wrote this so weird because I thought this was still Lauren Hissrich. So this is Cavil. I'm a huge fan of the books and staying loyal to them. And it's about making sure that that story happens without too much in the way of diversions or side things going on to muddy the waters, he said during a Netflix Geeked conversation last year. Adding fuel to the fire was a recent interview with Bia Demir, a former producer of The Witcher who is now running X-Men 97 on Disney+, where he said some writers actively disliked and even mocked the source material. So maybe Cavil is going to a place, Superman, where it's becoming more and more obvious that he's going to play a extremely close to comic accurate Superman, a Superman of hope, justice, happiness, truth, justice, the American way, Superman. Maybe it's more likely that getting this opportunity, he's leaving something that has been destroying a property that he loves and is going to go work on something that he really loves more and has a chance to do properly. Some fans' takeaways from these sound bites has been that while Hissrich was focused on making the show what she wanted it to be, Cavil was the only one interested in trying to keep it grounded in the original version of the characters. Yes. That's pretty obvious if you rub those 2 brain cells that I said you should have. This comes in the context of long Reddit threads like this one, where fans have detailed all of the ways Season 2 was different from the books. Whether fears that Season 3 not set to air until summer of 2023 might include even larger departures. While the theories is a compelling one when collapsed into a couple of viral tweets, the show's place within the larger fandom has always been more complicated than that. Hitchrich was temporarily chased off Twitter prior to Season 1's release when a racist fans petitioned Netflix to only let a white woman play the lead role of Siri, Geralt's adopted daughter. I need receipts or that didn't happen. Because when this show was coming out, that was 2018, 2019. I want to say 2019. Could have been 2018. It was pre-COVID. When the show was originally coming out, that was when you guys were using all sorts of excuses and attacks on people. And to be fair, you're calling them racist fans for only wanting a white woman to play Siri when Siri's white. Is it so wrong for people to want something to be accurate? Is that so wrong? How is any of that racist? It looks more racist when you do it the other way, when you forcibly change characters. Then there were those on the edge of the fandom with no knowledge of the interest in the grim, dark fantasy series until Netflix spent tens of millions bringing it to life. Book purists are hurting the experience of new fans, wrote one user on the show's subreddit last year. No. Book purists are trying to protect a property that they love. Then there are fans of CD Projekt Red's Witcher video game trilogy, which takes huge liberties with the storytelling and has effectively created its own parallel lore. Yeah, but it at the same time keeps the heart and soul of what makes Witcher Witcher. We went through this with Rings of Power. Rings of Power is dog trash. Peter Jackson's trilogy, while it took liberties and had to deviate from the original three books, it kept what Tolkien wanted at its core, so it was essentially Lord of the Rings, and we accepted that. Some people still don't like those three movies. That's that. That being said, CD Projekt Red's 3 video games still keep what it essentially the core, Geralt of Rivia, and you go from there. Geralt is still the main character. Geralt is a developed character. Geralt is a interesting, complex character. And what we were getting from Netflix, Geralt was a joke. Whether Cavil was a purist on set is almost beside the point. No, that's actually the most important point. His role in Season 2 clearly did little to prevent some of the narrative departures fans took the biggest issue with. Yeah, because he couldn't get it done. It's the biggest point that he's a purist. If he's leaving and he's a purist because he couldn't get the show to be as pure, that's the most important point. But he was clearly the glue holding the show's disparate fandoms together. Yes, he was. The fact that he loves PC gaming and painting Warhammer miniatures. Oh, you're burying the lead on that one. He builds his own gaming rigs. Like, he builds his own PCs. He is Geek Prime. He is the geek we all wish to be. He is our geek. And obviously was a big fan of Spakowski's books, gave him a huge street cred with even the worst diehard Witcher fans. This is, again, how they view people. This is how they view fans of these creations. Kotaku doesn't like you. Kotaku's a shill site. The only reason I go to them is because they can give me content. Normies and newcomers loved him too. Not because he's a pendant when it comes to the lore, but because he's charismatic presence that did He's a charismatic presence that did, in the end, manage to combine tenderness, ruthlessness, and morbid wit into something deeper than his Halloween spirit costume initially suggested. That, and also women go crazy over Henry Cavill, even with his short little arms. You know, he has these tiny little arms, but women go crazy over him, so they love this show. Without Cavill, all they have is the lesser Hemsworth. Heck, he's not even Thor. He played in Hunger Games. I think the glue that held it together really was Henry Cavill as Geralt. Former Kotaku senior critic Harper J. said during a 2018 VG chat about the first season. With that glue gone, The Witcher Season 4 has its work cut out for it with the circumstances. I could not read that. Circumstances around Cavill's leaving, dogging it at every turn. Whether Hemsworth is up to the task or not, the newest news, why can't I read? The news at least comes with Season 3 already wrapped. Fans will get one last chance to return to the world with Cavill as an anchor. I'm sure it will all go fine and not stoke even more conspiratorial speculation over creative differences. I highly doubt it. Because again, as we constantly establish through all this, Henry Cavill is geek prime. He is the geek we all wish to be. And look at those tiny little arms. I can't get over that. He has tiny arms. Henry Cavill is a fantastic actor. Henry Cavill is beloved. He knows the books. He knows the story. He knows these characters. And if he was allowed to do what he wanted to do, he'd still be there. Because again, he's going to be in the sci-fi series Mass Effect series. He's going to be the main character in Mass Effect. He's going to be Shepard. He's going to be Superman. He's going to be playing... He's playing in a bunch of stuff. So, doing The Witcher along with all this stuff wasn't going to be the problem. It became a problem because he didn't need this franchise anymore. He didn't require this to help keep him around. He finally has something that he has desperately He has something he wanted to be because he wanted to continue being Superman. And he looks like a fantastic Superman. But we know darn well that if they were allowed, if he was creating a very accurate Witcher, as close to accurate as humanly possible, he would stay there and do Superman as well. We know this. But because of Lauren Hitchrich, because of Netflix, because these people don't care, again, actively mock the source material, because they hate the source material so much, Henry Cavill says, I don't need to be here anymore. Got Superman, I got all this stuff that I like, and I'm going over there. So with that, guys, give me your thoughts down in the comments below. If you basically think this conspiracy theory is more accurate than not, tell me in the comments. Go ahead, do it. I don't care. If you think I'm wrong, go ahead, do it. I don't care. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Share it out with all your friends. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell for every time I drop a new video and go live. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye for now.